Genesis Metal Fury.
Hey everyone, as you can see tonight I'm playing the Kickstarter demo of Irena Genesis Metal Fury. This is a game that currently has an active Kickstarter. Well, I guess depending on when you're watching this video, it may or may not be active. They're creating this game for the Sega Genesis, however, I have a feeling they're going to release it on other systems, online platforms, so that the widest audience possible will be able to play it. It looks like they've got it running on the Evercade. Obviously, I can't peer into the minds of the developers, but it looks to me like they want to try and get this game into the hands of many people as possible. So I'm just going to jump right into it here. This demo only has one stage, or I guess two stages, one mission.
Stage 1.
I'm not very good at it. I will preface that right now. I do love how it starts out, though, very similar to the shoot-'em-up games of old. Still haven't figured out which weapons are good and which ones are bad, when to use them and whatnot. I feel like I do the best with the default weapon, but I do like the M power-up that gives you the floating craft or mines that float around your ship and give you more bullets to shoot with. Love that background. I also appreciate how the sprites in this game vary in size. Some are small, some are large. Love the clear voice samples too. That's great. As a work in progress, it does feel rather polished. Playing this demo on my Evercade Pro cartridge attached to my Mega SG. This part reminds me a lot of a section from a game called Eliminate Down. It's not as long as that stage in that game, but there's a stage where missiles are flying down at you from the top of the screen. And it just reminds me so much of that. First mid-boss here.
Your story ends here.
It reminds me of a Gundam. The demo isn't very long, but it is pretty challenging. A lot of that comes from the fact that I haven't memorized the enemy patterns yet, and there are some spots where you just have to know what's going to happen. The explosion effects on these big guys are awesome. If I have any complaint with the game, I think it's just that the ship's hitbox seems a little big. I'm used to shoot-'em-up games where the hitbox is smaller, like, for example, the ship's fins would be totally ignored. And to me, the ship just seems a little bit large for this type of game as it is. As I trigger my special there, because I hate those guys. I don't know why, but the special reminds me of the magic from Golden Axe. It'd be nice if there were multiple specials you could pick up. I was never too fond of these tunnel-type stages, so it makes sense that it would be causing me grief. The demo itself only takes about 7 or 8 minutes to get through. I played through it once, but like I said, I'm not super great at it, so I'm also getting used to what is and isn't solid in this stage. I got confused by that part because the scaffolding to me looked like it should be part of the background. Really background. No big deal though, that's something you'd eventually learn. So it looks like the fins are not necessarily part of the hitbox. I guess that's good. I still just haven't quite gotten got used to how to dodge things, I guess. Seems silly. I should comment though that I really like the music in this game. It has a very Thunder Force reminiscent vibe to it with the kind of rock back backbone and just the grunginess of the Genesis sound chip really comes across well. Ah, yeah, those narrow passageways, they just feel a little too narrow for my taste, but that's just me complaining. As you can see there, I kicked the bucket. I'm actually going to let the continue run out and just start over again. I'm going to play how I usually play. I was just trying to pick up all the various weapons there and kind of get a bit of a taste of everything on screen. But if you're watching this to try and get an idea of, like, how a super great shoot 'em up player would play this game, that's not going to be me. I love shoot 'em up games, but I'm not great at them. And the interesting thing about this game is if you enter these passwords online, there are actually online leaderboards that they're already up there, it looks like.
Irena, Genesis, Metal Fury.
Now, the one thing I'm sad about is when I downloaded the more recent demo, I lost all my progress because I had been playing through the old one. So I have to actually beat this version of the demo.
Stay one.
Who knows? Maybe I'll do it on this playthrough. We'll see. I'm just waiting till I get that mines power up. And there it is. There we go. Now we've got some firepower. I don't know what it is, but this weapon just seems to be awesome compared to all the rest. And the laser seems decent to me, but I could just never get, I don't know, the rockets and the missiles or whatever that's supposed to be just don't do it for me. But it's really hard to get the bearings on a game when you only really have a one-level demo. I am impressed with what they've got already, though. And they're definitely putting some care into the game because they've already implemented a lot of feedback from Kickstarter backers already. I guess my only feedback is why does the ship have to be so darn big? That's really my only thing, but I would probably get used to that if I play it enough times. Graphically, I have no other major complaints. I mean, some of these effects, the shading is just great. They're really making the Genesis hardware look spectacular. The weapon selection seems pretty good. Soundtrack kicks butt.
Your story ends here.
Love the little speech clips too. Hope the final game has all of those in it. You can never tell with a game where they're trying to fit it within the typical Genesis cartridge confines. I mean, they may get to a point where they have to start cutting things out to get cram the whole game in. Now against this guy is about the only time I think the laser weapon helped a little bit more, but I still prefer the Gatling gun or the machine gun or whatever it's supposed to be. One thing I'd like to be able to do is kind of control what the mines do around the craft. I mean, that's coming from somebody who plays probably too much R-Type or Gradius and wants to be able to control those things and use them as meat shields, basically. I still haven't quite figured out how to navigate that section. Oh well, that's what the explosion special is for. I know their suggestion is to alter the speed of your ship going through here, but I just haven't gotten used to doing that, really. I'm glad that you get the shield in the beginning, though. It certainly helps. It'd be nice if there was another one midway through, but that's just my scrubbed self. Oh, okay. It'd also be cool if your weapon was already powered up, if additional power-ups would do something. Maybe it give you an extra level of shield, or destroy enemies on screen, give you a huge point bonus, something. It's really tough to nitpick something that seems to be a great work in progress. I mean, this thing's already better than half of the shoot-'em-up games that were actually released for the Genesis and Megadrive. It's just a demo. No Thunder Force 3 or 4 yet. Hey, it shows promise. Huh. Sure. I probably should watch videos of other people playing this to get an idea of how to really get through this last section easier.
This is where you die.
Sure. Mommy! I feel like they have plans for that boss on later levels, or on harder difficulty levels, where he'll probably spit stuff out of his mouth.
Stage complete.
So yeah, could have done better, but that's that. So, hey, this is the Irena or Irena, as you care to pronounce it, Kickstarter demo. If you're interested in backing it, check them out on Kickstarter. I'll leave a link down below to their campaign.